Alright guys, so we're back. We're going to do a TIE Fighter painting today. It's pretty cool, pretty simple. I hope you guys try it at home. We're going to need our poster board. We're going to need black, white. For the planet, we're going to need blue and green. You can use whatever color you want for the planet. I'm going to use blue and green. For the TIE Fighter, first you're going to need a planet stencil, obviously, whatever size you want. For the TIE Fighter, we're going to use gray. Alright, it's gray. It's hard to see. And we're going to use some dark gray just to kind of give it some more detail. And we'll go ahead and get started. So we put our planet stencil down. Oh yeah, we're also going to use some like bright green as well. That's optional. Alright, put our stencil down, give it a quick spray of some black, give it the outline. We've talked about this on another video. Alright, black. We'll grab our green. This can's almost empty. Just a quick spray of green. And then blue. Don't have to fill it all in. And then we're going to go on the top with just a little bit of white, just random spots. Kind of be the mountain tops. Alright, our paper. Of course, you know, you want to do this before it dries. So definitely before it dries, crumble the paper. You can also crumble it smaller, or you can smear it if that's something you want to do. I'm going to go with the crumble today, as usual. And if there's any spot you miss, like down here on the bottom, you can give it a little pat, open it up. Anywhere else, you know, you can kind of beat it up. Pat, pat. Alright, so there's our planet. Now, what we're going to want to do is give it a little white shadowing along the front edge of it. You can do it, you don't have to do it. Real light. Shake the cans, always shake the cans. Real light, and I messed that one up. Well, that's a little dark. Ooh, a little heavy. It'll be alright. Alright. And then back in the top, you know, we're going to do a black shadowing. You don't have to because it sits so far off in the corner, but you know, you can give a real light shadowing, kind of like there. See, that's how we should have done it with the white. Alright, now here we're going to use just some bright green around the edge of the planet. You know, there's that bright green. It's like a neon green. Now, we should let this dry before we put the stencil on it. You know, otherwise it'll kind of leave a ring, it'll stick because of the edge on this is kind of thick. So you should let it dry, and that's what we're going to do. We'll let it dry and we'll be right back. Alright, so it's dry, and we'll find right where we want to put it. Make sure we get a lot of detail of the edge in it, and that looks like a good spot. Now out here, we're going to put down some blue first. You can do just black if you want, but we can put down some blue, maybe a little bit of the green, kind of what's inside the planet, before we go over it with the black, just to give it some like space depth. So we'll start with the blue, and you'll see it's you know, you just go over it real quick. You don't have to cover it, just real quick, and you can leave some white in some areas. You'll see it's gonna be amazing. Alright, little green, just randomly, nothing special. And now with the black, we will go over it, around the planet, decently heavy. You know, you want to make sure you get that planet to stand out, and then over the rest of it out here, you know, just kind of quick, leave some of that blue to show through, little spots of the green, and it gives it a pretty cool space look to it. You know, check that out. Look at that. See how amazing that is. Now we definitely want to let this dry before we move on to the next step. So, you know, here we can put while we're waiting for that to dry, we can put a you know, a bright, kind of a white ring on the outside of the planet. Just kind of brightens it up. But I'm not sure what I was thinking about, maybe a kind of a flare right here. Some kind of star flare. Maybe it's behind the planet. So give it a little white ring. Aim a little farther at the bottom. Give it that burst. Use the straight part of your paper or a straight edge and aim at the paper. Not the painting. Aim at the paper. You get these kind of cool lines that, the flares, those solar flares, like the new Star Trek movies, everywhere. Of course, those look a lot cooler than this one, but there we go. And when we take this stencil off, that flare is going to look pretty cool. Just make sure when you do these, aim at the paper, not the painting. Aim at it, and it'll burst off and make little lines, and it's a pretty cool little effect. Now, see, to me that looks kind of cool, but I think it makes the plant look a little squished. So, and I like the atmospheric look when you kind of burst around the edge here. You get this little atmosphere look. Maybe some blue, if this will shoot out of there right. No, it's not really doing it. We can go with some of that green we used. We can do that. Maybe that'll take the edge off of some of that white. Let's see. There we go. A little atmosphere look. It's kind of cool. I mean, it's nothing great, but it's kind of cool. Alright, so we do want to let this dry. We can figure out where we want to put our stencil for our next step. Now's a pretty good time while it's still wet. You can sign it. You can do this later. You can do this now. It's already dried a little bit, but we'll sign it here. So it's a little dry. Alright, so we'll let that dry completely, and we'll be back to start our TIE Fighter stencil. Alright guys, so here we are. Nice and dry. Definitely make sure it's dry, because if it's not dry, your stencil will stick to your painting. When you pull it up, it'll either rip your stencil and your painting, or your stencil will be fine, but it will pull the paint off your painting, and or pull the paint off and rip it, and that'll really tick you off. Here we're going to do some stars. I actually should have done this before we let it dry, so now we're going to have to wait for it to dry again. Remember how we do the stars? Put it on our finger, give a little flick to the side so you don't get huge droplets of white paint on there. Just want little stars in the back. So we'll do that, and now we gotta wait for that to dry. I messed that up, didn't I? It's gonna be a long day. Okay, so now that the stars are dry, here we go again. We grab our stencil over here for our TIE Fighter. This also worked for an X-Wing or something else if you want, or if you're not into Star Wars, you can do a Star Trek one, or maybe some Battlestar Galactica. That'd be kind of cool. Kind of see the raptor out there. Yeah, I'm a nerd, a geek, whatever you want to call me. I like my sci-fi stuff. So we make sure this is really dry. Set this down, figure out where we're going to put it. Maybe turn it a little bit, here. There, it looks good. Once you get it where you want it, put a can on it or something. You don't have to, but sometimes I like to do it. It keeps the paper from moving around. So grab your paper, put it up around it. Keep that overspray from happening. Make sure we shake our cans really well. And you may want to have a tool handy to help hold down some of the edges of the paper there, like in the center, just to keep it from overspraying underneath it, underspraying I guess you want to call it. Kind of hold it down. And right there you see we might spray underneath it, and it's going to hit our painting. You're going to see that, and trust me, that's terrible when that happens. It'll leave a little white line on the painting underneath. It'll happen to you, and you'll know what I'm talking about. So get it nice and gray, nice and covered. You don't want it sloppy wet. Now here we're going to do some dark gray. We did let this dry. Could have put the dark gray on it before we let it dry. Once again, I screwed up, and another step of waiting for it to dry. Alright, shake our cans really well. We're going to put some dark gray in, just random areas on here. Just make it look a little worn. Maybe that it's seen some battle. Just gives it that little more detail without actually having to get into it and put that detail in it. So shake our cans. I haven't used this one in a while. Shake, shake, shake the cans. Alright, we've shaken the can enough, I hope. Let's give it a try here. Spray off to the side. Make sure it's spraying the way you want it to. And just off in the edges. Some over in the corner on the side somewhere. Just real lightly with some heavier spots, and just maybe around where the cod pick is. You know what I'm trying to say. Where the guy sits and drives the thing. I can't get that word out today. And I think maybe some over here in the middle on each wing. And then there we go. We'll let this dry and take our cans off. And there we go. Now, we'll gotta let that dry. Always with the drying. Okay, so it's nice and dry. You can test it, feel if it's sticky. If it's even the tiniest bit sticky. Your hand may not stick to it, but if you can feel that little bit of moisture, you'll know that this is going to stick to it, and you want to wait a little longer. Now, lining this up is a pain, without any reference points. A little, like a circle in one corner, a circle in another to line it up. What I like to do is get my thumbnail in a very corner and lift up the paper a little bit and see how close it is. What we're trying to do is get the wing where the black part's going to be right in the middle, and you want that little bit of gray edging all the way around the wing, and you kind of want it to be even. So once we get it lined up, see some thumbnail, get it lined up. Alright, so we'll work on getting that lined up. Alright, we got it. Put a can on it so it doesn't move, because we do not want to go through that again. And put our paper around it. Alright. Shake your cans. Black. Shake, shake, shake. Shake. I'm sorry. Never mind. I actually don't know the words of that song, but I think it's from like Beetlejuice or something. I don't know. Alright, hold the middle down. You can use something. You can use your finger. I'd put a glove on if you use your finger. Give it a little black spray real lightly. I'm actually holding the can about 15, 16 inches away from the paper. May not look like that, but it's pretty far up there. Real light, because we do our best not to underspray underneath those black lines. We want to keep the spots gray that we want to keep gray. So put that on there. Then I'm going to grab some gray, hit the middles with some gray just to bring that black back out. Then we'll go back over with the gray again, or with the black again. Probably don't have to do this. I don't think it makes that big of a difference. I just was wanting to try this out, see how it looked. Maybe like a lighting perspective. I don't know. Alright, let's see. Look at that. That is sharp. That is clean. So there's our TIE fighter. It's pretty cool. Now you can leave it right there and this could be done. I like to go a little farther with it, and I really wanted to. And it's your painting, so you should do what you want to do to your painting. And I like to go in and scratch around the edges of the windows. And if it's a little dry, because it's been sitting and drying, we'll get some clear coat. So scratch around here, each window. It just kind of makes the windows look a little indented. Yeah, it's starting to dry. So we'll get some clear coat. So get some clear coats, just basic clear. It's not a clear enamel, actually just use clear gloss spray. You can use clear enamel if you want. I find the enamel cracks the painting unless you're using enamel spray paints. I actually use the 2x cover, Rust-Oleum and whatnot. I don't know why they're not enamel paints, is why they crack with the enamel clear coat, I guess. So we go over this, put some lines in. This is just my painting. It's how I want it done, so that's how we're gonna do it. You do yours how you want. You can put make the lines go the opposite way, make them swirl. Don't put the lines in. Put little smiley faces in each little black section if you want. If you really want to get into it, you can put like little war insignias on it. I think they had those in the new movie, right? Some of the TIE fighters had the symbol for the First Order, I think, on the TIE fighter. So you just do what you want. Little scratches, give some detail. I think it makes it look a little cooler. Keep using this clear coat because it dries pretty quick. We speed this up. That was what, 12 times faster than normal. So you can imagine how long that whole process took right there. So there's my TIE fighter. I think he's a pretty cool TIE fighter. I think there's one other thing I'd like to do to this. You can check that out first. Now, what I'd like to do is give it those speeding streaks. So he's nice and dry. Take the middle from our cutout. Set him over top. Hide the TIE fighter. Make sure it's really dry. Always make sure it's dry. If you live in a humid state like I do, you'll find that it takes a lot longer for the paint to dry. And if it just rained or is raining, it may take hours before it'll dry. Now take your straight edge. You can use a flat piece of poster board, something nice and flat. Grab your curve. You don't want it off to the side like that. Grab your curve. Keep it straight with the bottom of the wing. We're going to go with the bright green here. And what I like to do is make these speed lines, these zoom lines. My son likes to call it the zooming lines. I don't know what you call them, but I think it looks pretty cool once you finally take it off. It's kind of speeding through space. Just call it the Speedy TIE Fighter. And do it to the top. Maybe not quite as long on the top ones. Just like that. And then the reveal. See, that looks a lot cooler. Down here on the bottom, they went out a little farther. You could touch it up with some black paint. But that's pretty much it there. I think he's a pretty cool TIE fighter. I do hope you try that at home. You can try that with anything you want. Just make a nice stencil and there you go.